What's up, BP Squad? It's Spence Crosby back with another video. Today, guys, we're going to be going through basic boxing fundamentals that are essential but aren't stressed enough in the gym. Now, I've been boxing for about 8 years or so, and these are things that I tell my fighters to do. Even as a boxer myself, I'm still working to perfect my craft. So with that said, guys, we're going to be going through these basic fundamentals. You must become a student of the game. You have to master your craft down to a science. So some of these essentials that we're going to be discussing, some of you might do them, some of you might not. Either way, it's always good to have that refreshment. With that said, guys, we're gonna jump into the first essential, and that's bringing your hands back to home base position. My coach used to always stress this. A lot of the time, guys, when we throw our punches, we kind of go through the motions. We don't bring our hands back to home base position. So what does that leave you at risk with? Well, that leaves you at risk with getting caught with a counter shot in the exchanges. What do I mean, guys? If you're in exchange with your opponent, right, and you're not bringing your hands back to home base position, then if I'm like this, I could get caught with something. Same thing with a counter shot. If I'm having my hands like this, counter right there, guys. So you have to always be mindful, especially as you're stepping up the ladder, or should I say progressing through the ranks. Guys, this is essential because as you advance through the ranks, you have to keep in mind the competition is going to get thinner and thinner. And as it gets thinner and thinner, you can't make these mistakes. These are costly mistakes. Keep that in mind. So if you watch some of my earlier YouTube videos, I always kind of threw my hands like this. I would focus on speed, but I didn't always bring my hands back. Now, as you look at my later videos, I'm really focusing on bringing my hands back, making sure I don't get caught with exchanges or, again, counter shots. So let's take the 1-2-1, for example. As you're throwing it 1-2-1, you're gonna shoot your jab. But again, for me, I have my left hand guarding my chin. I'm gonna shoot my two. As I shoot my two, guys, my right hand should come right back to home base position to protect my chin. Now I'm finally gonna throw my one, and again, my left hand comes back to home base position just to make sure I don't get caught on the chin. So again, guys, as you let your hands go, always remember to bring them back to home base position just as fast as you let them go. My second essential, of course, is footwork. Guys, you know I stress footwork. Footwork is super essential. Reasons being is it separates you from the rest of the competition. Most people that do boxing, guys, they don't stress footwork. That's just a thing. Footwork can be boring, tedious, all those different things. But again, guys, if you take time to really master footwork, you're gonna be a phenomenal boxer. And when I say master footwork, master going forward and backwards, side to side, especially side to side, because that's really gonna set up nice angles for you. Most importantly, when it comes to improving your footwork, shadow box. Use the ladder. The ladder is a great tool to really improve your footwork, to understand where you need to be in space, learning how to utilize your punches when you're moving. I highly recommend for you guys to invest into a ladder. Relatively cheap, and it will definitely take your footwork to the next level. Also be sure to jump rope. Jump rope is a great tool. Not only will it improve your cardio, but also make you more light on your feet. Guys, when it comes to boxing, you have to be light on your feet. If you're heavy-footed, you can still have success. Look at Canelo. He's still highly successful despite having heavy feet. I highly encourage you guys, practice your footwork. It's super essential. My third essential, guys, is stop being overly textbook. Again, it sounds crazy, right? Overly textbook. What's wrong with being overly textbook? A lot of things. Some of the things can be wrong. I'm not saying, guys, to neglect your fundamentals, but what I'm saying is this: you have to add your own unique flavor to boxing. It's great to make sure your fundamentals are on point, having your hands up, nice bend in your knees. But sometimes you could be overly textbook, boom, robotic, not having no rhythm to you. Look at UK fighters. A lot of them are overly textbook. Not all of them, but many of them. Compared to American fighters, a lot of them have their own unique flavor added to it. And that's what separates them from UK fighters. Again, comparing it to what I said earlier, you might be progressing through the ranks, no problem. But then you meet that fighter who's just as textbook as you, but now they have their own flavor added to it. That's what separates, guys. Let me reiterate again. Nothing wrong with being textbook. Just don't be overly textbook. Put your own unique spin on it, just like Bruce Lee said. Now, guys, we're gonna be discussing the importance of having a bladed or a side stance. I always say, boxers should not be square. When you're square, guys, like this, not only will you not have a lot of power on your punches, because again, I'm throwing my punches like this, but now I'm more susceptible to getting hit with body shots because I'm giving my opponent more surface area to actually target. Versus the bladed stance, you're getting a little more pop with your punches because now you're kind of creating a rubber band effect. See how I'm throwing my one and I'm throwing my two? As I'm throwing my two, right, I get a little more distance to cover. Versus the square stance, you see how I won't get as much power on my punch? because I'm already squared. When I'm bladed, I have more distance to cover, but now I have a little bit more pop on that punch. So I always advocate for having a bladed stance. Some guys are actually able to get power off their punch when they're at square stance, but not everybody. And again, comparing both of the stances, the bladed and the square stance, when you're bladed and you're trying to protect yourself from a body shot, now you have that extra layer of protection because all you have to do is just rotate your shoulder a little bit. You have less surface area for your opponent to actually target. Versus when you square, you give your opponent a lot of surface area. So keep that in mind. So I highly encourage you guys to have more of a bladed or a side stance. My last essential for you guys is to create a rhythm. You don't want to just stand in front of your opponent just like this, just waiting. Create a rhythm, guys. Throw your jab. You want to be doing something. Move your head, making sure you're moving your feet. Those different things are essential because if you just sit there like this, then you become a standing target. So create a rhythm. You have to be formless, be water. So create a rhythm for yourself. Maybe you might throw a double jab. You sticking and moving, and then you throw your two, boom, you get back. Always make sure you bring your hands back to home base position. So guys, those are my basic essentials that aren't stressed enough in the gym. So make sure you guys do stress those essentials. If you have any to add, feel free to drop it in the comments. With that said, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, then you know what to do. Smash that like button. Most importantly, make sure you are properly subscribed. I'll see you guys next week. Peace and love as always. And now shave. Boom. We out, baby.